I hit the Pentagon just now. They hit the Pentagon? Planes? What the hell that fucking move? They hit the Pentagon.
What's your name?
My name's Dov Charney, sir.
Well, since we've got the internet, the world really has become much more interconnected, it's become more networked, and it's become more accessible. They've actually got cell phones in places where they don't even have electricity, for example. While there are undeniably many benefits, people have powers now to network, research, create, and broadcast. There's also a question of who controls the communication mediums and how they're being used. While activists use these tools to challenge oppression and fight for social justice, at the same time corporations are trying to co-opt these channels as modes of advertising, and their market-style communication is becoming more aggressive, deceptive, and insidious. The market culture unleashes a steady stream of corporate memes because they want to capture our mind share and brand moments of our everyday reality. In this video, we're going to introduce the Global Invisible Theater, which is a matrix of theatrical techniques and players that exist that we're trying to create to jam these corporate style of communications. We're going to use one specific jam as an example to elaborate on how the techniques are working, and that is a jam that occurred in 2009. We call it the Coppertone Jam. Essentially what had happened was there was a community-based street fair on Saint Laurent Boulevard in Montreal, which is a historic site. And in this site, the federal government's guidelines suggest that intrusive elements must be minimal. So you would think this would be a place you would be protected from any sort of corporate manipulation. But somehow this really slippery piece of stealth marketing had slipped its way in there, and this was this tent that was set up. It was filled with Coppertone products and logos, and these actors costumed as doctors and nurses who were there photographing people's skin and really playing up their health fears that they had skin cancer and advising them that they needed to use their product, Coppertone, to protect themselves. So how did this piece of stealth marketing slide there into a community event, into a protected historic site? Something doesn't seem right here. The Global Invisible Theater is designed to theatrically challenge hegemonic thinking and oppressive systems.
Nothing bought is something. We're trying to encourage. We're not buying. We abstain. All reclusion is insane. Not becoming without rain.
Through role-playing and by creating dramatic alternative realities. It begins with the premise that market-style communication is inherently theatrical. Advertisers use the same techniques as the theater. Actors, costumes, props, scripts, all carefully stage-managed for an audience. In order to challenge their communications head-on, we must reappropriate the theatrical elements and play them out critically on their stage. In order to shatter their corporate illusion and damage their brand, we must begin by disrupting their stealth marketing with invisible theater. It's a step-by-step process. Okay, so the first step is to identify the corporate mise-en-scène, to figure out how is the corporation trying to present its stealth marketing or its advertisement or whatever it's trying to do. So usually you look for things like logos, actors dressed up as characters trying to promote the product, sort of manipulative or unrealistic experiences, these fake experiences, and of course there's always a sales pitch as well. You really have to identify what's happening in the corporate theater before you can jam it. You need to know the lay of the ground. The second step involves getting a team of players together and devising an invisible theater scenario. Invisible theater is an activist technique pioneered by Augusto Boal. Essentially, invisible theater is a performance by undercover actors in everyday life. It is designed as a dramatic situation or intervention that will spark conflict and raise questions about oppression.
These guys cause cancer.
Yeah, no shit.
Make sure, absolutely. You know what I'm talking about. If you look up the
Why would sunscreen cause cancer? It doesn't make
If you
sense.
look up the peer-reviewed research, the ingredients in these products are carcinogenic.
No kidding.
Usually with invisible theater, there are three main roles that need to be filled. Actor A accepts the oppressive situation. Actor B challenges it. And Actor C places the situation into a larger context. The invisible theater begins when Actor A enters their scene as someone who accepts the status quo, in this case to have their skin photographed for cancer. Actor B enters in the role of an activist who objects to the stealth marketing technique and the product itself. Actors A and B begin an argument, and soon unsuspecting members of the public are witnessing a discourse about corporate manipulation instead of Coppertone's product, often joining in the debate themselves.
And these guys aren't even doctors. They're here, they're paid. They're paid shills to tell you guys that this stuff's going to prevent cancer, when in actuality, if you look up the peer-reviewed research online, you'll be able to see quite clearly this stuff is full of carcinogens, such as oxybenzone.
A and D. Vitamin A and D are essential to your health.
Without absorbing your vitamin D from the sun, you're going to get cancer as well. This stuff causes cancer. It doesn't prevent it. Stay away from Coppertone. All they want is some money, man. That's all they're doing.
Or something. This is
Well, this is about cancer.
here.
This is about actually causing cancer for your skin. You don't think that's a little bit of a problem? You really
That's true. Why don't you ask one of the scientists? They'll tell you it's not
scientists, these are bought and paid for scientists. These guys are on the corporate dime. If you look up the peer-reviewed science, you'll be able to tell perfectly
They're
clearly.
snake oil salesmen.
Absolutely.
Fuck off.
That's
Actor C later enters the scene, in this case playing a representative of the Street Merchant Association, who claims that corporate manipulation is normal.
Excuse me, these people paid for their spot? Sorry.
Excuse me, are you trying to infringe
No.
my democratic right
No,
to
the
inform
street-
people that this stuff is carcinogenic?
It doesn't matter if it's carcinogenic, the street is for sale,
it matters
and if
if
these
it's
people paid
carcinogenic.
for their spot, they
Do you
can do
think
whatever
people-
they
you think
want.
people-
Usually at this point, security guards arrive, and the scene heats up even more.
Ok, j'ai sous contrôle, c'est correct, c'est correct.
It's absolutely no under control. These products are carcinogenic. Excuse me,
Sous
don't touch
control.
me. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. I have every right to have a conversation, to speak to anybody
C'est
that I
correct.
want to. Be careful, guys.
Ils vont dans
Coppertone sells carcinogens.
la rue, ils vendent n'importe qui, même s'ils causent the cancer. New Ad Media is selling off the street because even if they cause cancer, it doesn't matter. It's under control, it's a good thing. This culture's for sale, this public space is for sale.
No, it's not for sale. It's a street and it belongs to everybody. And I have as much right to be here as anybody else. And they're trying to remove me for telling you guys that this stuff's carcinogenic. Go on the internet, look it up. All the peer-reviewed science is available.
You, sir, have to stop. This street is for sale.
Yeah, and you don't need vitamin D. Hide from the sun.
Cancer! Coppertone cancer! Step right up!
The sun is carcinogenic, and you don't get enough vitamin D because they're all afraid of the sun.
Exactly. Absolutely true. And oxybenzone, which is a major component in these products, is a carcinogen. Absolutely. We
That's
thank you for
right.
joining our
That's
culture
right.
camp.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's all
As
okay.
I
They
said,
paid for their spot,
stay
therefore it's
away
not
from the
carcinogenic.
Coppertone stuff.
And like any good piece of theater, it ends with a climax, albeit one that shatters the corporate illusion.
They paid for their spot, they can still make it.
Christ almighty. My face is all fucked up. It's sun and everything. I'm just going to use the product here because this is going to cure my face. So, Jesus Christ, you see that, man? That's too much sun. Put this on.
It doesn't prevent
Look at this.
They've got oxybenzone. Look up the peer-reviewed. What are you actually? You're actually putting that stuff on your face.
Ah! It's burning my face! Ah!
damn.
Fucking look at that!
Now, once the piece of invisible theater or the intervention is done, it's very important to remix the footage and so forth into cultural products. And here I'm talking about getting blogs online, viral videos, and these types of cultural products go on the internet and begin to spread virally, so that initial intervention can be shared with an audience around the planet. The step after that is to use these cultural products to begin lobbying politicians to demand change. In this case, to demand that they protect the historic site to ensure that no more stealth marketers are allowed to use it for these types of unethical promotions. The final step in the process is really to try to slot that into the network of what we call the global invisible theater. And again, that is a series of players all across the world that are using similar techniques that are jamming different targets of oppression. Now, once all of those players are linked up, that's when they can really start building a cultural resistance that grows larger and larger and can demand on a global scale one day that we put a stop to these types of corporate communications and that we demand a better way to communicate for ourselves. To learn more or get involved, please visit www.optative.net.